For the first time, I'm going to say something and actually mean it. I am very glad that Robert Walsh is not on the radio show today. The Ravens, his Ravens, with Robert and his lovely fiancée Cheyenne in attendance, got dominated by the Detroit Lions last night. Derrick Henry's fumble problems have been an early story to the Ravens' 1-2 start. You've never seen a team score as much as the Ravens do and have a losing record through 3 games at this point in the season. But 38 to 30, 31?
Ends up being 38 to 30.
38 to 30.
Yeah.
There it is.
At surface level, dominated feels like a strong word. Ravens are down 4 when Derrick fumbles, and that allows the Lions to kick the field goal, go up 7. Ravens got the ball down 7 in the fourth quarter. But then you start to look at the numbers, and they were outrushed. 224 to 85.
That's what I'm saying. Physically, they were dominated, which is not something that you expect to say about the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Detroit plays a very physical style of football as well, and their offense has sparked new life since getting smoked essentially getting smoked in week 1. They've looked much, much better against the Bears and now Baltimore on the road in a big spot.
But even still, 72 of those 224 on that one touchdown run by David Montgomery. But, yeah, weird start to the season for the Ravens at 1-2.
So the Chiefs are 1-2. The Ravens are 1-2. The Titans could be 1-2 if they beat the winless Texans over the weekend, which would be
that would make them 1-3.
Story 1-3, excuse me. But at this point, I am very curious to see what adjustments Baltimore makes defensively, because they're dealing with a lot of attrition. And this is the thing that stands out about a lot of teams so far in the early going. There's injuries all over the place. CeeDee Lamb's going to miss a bunch of time. Joe Burrow's down for a period that they expect to be, almost 3 months with the surgery. We've talked about backup quarterbacks already heading into week 3. And at the conclusion of week 3, you're looking around at the Ravens. Their offense is healthy. Their defense is in shambles. And you're wondering if they can feasibly find a way to figure it out the way that they did last year, because their defense was a sieve in the early part of the season too. But for all 3 of us, well, Ross wasn't here when we made our season predictions, and all 3 of us, Robert, Lucas, and me, picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. You and I both had the Bucks and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. Who was Robert's pick? The Vikings from the NFC, I believe?
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yes.
Okay. Ross, who's actually paying attention to the show. Well,
I also picked the Ravens on cover 2 to beat the Packers in the Super Bowl. Not feeling great about either at the current moment.
Well,
that's one game.
This is the thing, though. Just because a team has all the pieces and parts to be a Super Bowl contender doesn't mean that they won't suffer a setback.
Yeah, there are going to be slip-ups. Week 1, the Detroit Lions were a shell of themselves.
Oh, yeah. That didn't look like the same offense even remotely.
No Ben Johnson. Here we go. The Lions step back that we all anticipated. They've been excellent since then. They hung 50 on a Bears team that dismantled the Cowboys over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And they went into Baltimore, ran for over 200 yards, put up 38 points, and got out with their second straight win. So week 1's a liar, sure, but it's still the NFL. I think we get so hooked on these early season good performances, and to undo it all based on a game like the Packers struggling to score against what is a pretty talented Browns defense, and Jordan Love throwing a bad interception and then a field goal block and losing, I'm not going to rewrite everything that the Packers are no longer a Super Bowl contender. They very much are. But the Lions sure looked like 1-2 last night.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate throughout the course of the show. You are welcome to do so. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can live stream today's broadcast. As is always the case, Zone TV via the F&M Bank chat is where you can interact with the show. If we do not get to your phone calls, we will make sure to keep an eye on the chat for your feedback there. Jason Fitz is on the show. Ron Slay is going to be with us as well. We'll talk about this Bruce Pearl situation, because the more time that we had, obviously we're going to spend the bulk of a Monday reacting to a Titans game. And the Brian Callahan situation took up a lot of oxygen yesterday, but the Bruce Pearl thing is a huge, huge story in the wake of college basketball season getting ready to tip off here in the not too distant future. With a month to go before the season, I mean, how many coaches are better than Bruce Pearl or were better than Bruce Pearl, active college basketball coaches. Tennessee might have one of them, but I think the argument was probably in favor of Bruce Pearl over Rick Barnes.
I think Bruce Pearl is a Hall of Fame coach.
Yes.
What he has done throughout the course of his career at multiple different levels. So, yes, that is a massive story in college sports to hand it off to his son, Steven, who played for him at Tennessee. So I imagine Slay has some familiarity with Steven as well, although Steven would have come in a few years after Slay's great career at Tennessee ended.
Jill Morris on YouTube, where, like I mentioned, you can interact with the show, says, has anyone checked in on the aforementioned Robert Walsh?
It's best to just...
We're not dumb enough to do that.
Yeah, it's best to just let it. Last night, I was talking to Megan about it. She was like, you should, send him a message and tell him just, hey, because when the game was ending, I was like, oh, God, yeah. Robert, please don't end up in a Baltimore jail or something. Swinging on a Lions fan.
So reasonable fear, given the video that he sent us late in the evening last night of him and his buddy sitting in the stands and being, shall we say, perturbed about being asked to sit down on third down instead of cheering for the team.
Ridiculous. I side with him on that. Yes. For home fans to ask fellow fans of the home team to sit down during third down. Stop being so loud. I don't love that, although... maybe we need to hear both sides of the story, but
I'm sure he was doing something untoward.
It's best to just let it simmer. Just let him
standing up on first and second down as well. Probably.
Yeah, no, I think that Robert was probably, full Robert. He had his Ravens chain with the big Ravens logo on. He was tailgating with Steve Smith Sr. beforehand. There are very few things that Robert Walsh will go out of his way to spend money on, in my experience. A Ravens game is one of them, and he will go all out. He'll spend the money for the VIP tailgate with Jimmy Seafood. He'll do the whole thing. He was sending us many excited texts and pictures of himself at the tailgate. He seemed to be enjoying himself. I was frankly pleased that he checked in with us via video at some point in the evening, and that was, of course, before the Derrick Henry fumble situation.
Which, by the way, speaking of emotion on the side of Robert, I don't think I've ever seen emotion like that on the sideline from Derrick.
He crashed out pretty hard.
I have never seen that. And not once in his time in Tennessee did he display that sort of frustration.
I'm surprised he didn't break the helmet stand that's on the cooling benches there behind him. I'm surprised he didn't break that off when he slammed his helmet down on it and then kind of threw himself into the bench. I mean, that's a lot of weight to throw around.
Third straight week, man. Derrick Henry has had seasons with less than 3 fumbles.
Last year, he had 3 fumbles total. He has 3 fumbles through 3 weeks at this point in time. So he did have was it 22 that he had the fumble problems?
22, he fumbled 4, and lost 2. In 2019, he fumbled 5 and lost 3. That was his career high with the Titans. But 2023, 0 fumbles. 2024 with the Ravens, like you said, 3. He only lost 1 last year. So for him to have already lost 2 in the first 3 weeks of the season, his career high in fumbles lost is 3 from that 2019 season. And it was a weird play. The punch came in from behind. John Harbaugh said it was just a freak
Defenders
thing.
made good plays on Derrick Henry, but we're just not used to seeing Derrick Henry put the ball on the turf that way, especially in a fourth quarter situation the way that happened last night.
And in week 1.
Yes. So for the Ravens, it'll be interesting to see how they is anybody worried if you're just talking about general football? I know Titans fans are happy to see the Ravens lose at any point when the Ravens lose, but just generally, if you have money on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, if you have interest in just generally the tenor of the AFC, you've got the Ravens at 1-2 now. You've got the Chiefs at 1-2 now after beating the Giants in what was an ugly, ugly game. But that's fine. Get a win on the road. That's what it is. I don't know who I would be more concerned about generally, like who feels a bit more fraught if you're Baltimore or Kansas City, but those are 2 of the best teams in the sport looking around and trying to figure themselves out at this point.
And one of them's going to be 1-3 after next week.
Yes.
unless they tie, which would be awesome.
That's my fear for Sunday, by the way, in Houston.
Oh, the first ever tie in the Titans era.
Two winless teams. Like, if I spend my week, I'm already covering an 0-3 team. If I spend my week covering an 0-3 team and travel down to Houston to watch these idiots tie, I'm going to freak out.
Oh, everybody feel bad.
I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just saying I'm going to be pissed. You're the only one who really has to deal with the consequences of that when I come back on Monday.
No, not the entire listening audience. Yeah, just me.
I mean, I'm bitching anyway, so what are you going to do?
What last night did do is make the AFC North fascinating.
Yeah.
With the Bengals and no Joe Burrow for maybe the entirety of the regular season. The Steelers, who beat the Patriots to get to 2-1 last weekend. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, surpassing Brett Favre for the fourth most touchdown passes in NFL history in that game. And the Ravens being what they're being, and the Browns with a big win, but nobody believes that's going to be sustainable this season.
I just got a weird text that I don't know if I can make public, but I'm going to find that out during the commercial break, and we may have to talk about something coming up next. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Push it. Are you interested in wealth management that's designed to protect, maintain, and expand your financial portfolio? Trajan Wealth understands the importance of tactical investments and tailored insights for growth in line with your risk tolerance. Call Trajan Wealth today to learn more about these strategies. They are here to help you work your way through that next phase of life, whether it's wealth management, whether it's retirement planning, whether it's those tactical investments like I mentioned, because there's nothing worse than being financially insecure. You strive for financial independence. Easy for me to say. And Trajan Wealth is here to help you with that. 2 locations in Brentwood and Franklin. Their number is simple, 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. All right. I am trying to figure out whether I can tell you guys the text that we just got from Titans PR. What I can tell you is that it's not that Brian Callahan is fired. But there's something happening before coordinators today. They felt it necessary to inform the local media. I asked if I can say that on the air or be more specific on the air, but something's happening at some point before 11 a.m. So no firing, but a schedule change. Feels like it should be on the record unless we were told otherwise. So I'm going to be polite and not do that until I get confirmation, but just something to keep an eye on before 11 a.m. today when the coordinators speak, not involving the firing of Brian Callahan. So, you got headlines?
I got headlines.
Well, wait. You going to do the thing? You going to be good at your job today?
What's it called on the board?
Oh, for God's sakes. Just do them.
Injuries still piling up for the San Francisco 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa is out for the season with a torn ACL. Still waiting on Brandon Ayuk to come back. Brock Purdy has now missed 2 straight games. George Kittle is on IR with a hamstring injury. And now Nick Bosa gone for the season. It feels like it is really starting to stack on Kyle Shanahan. I mean, these are their best players that we're talking about. Amazingly, Christian McCaffrey, even though he had a little calf thing before week 1, has not been one of these players. He has been healthy and has been pretty productive for the 49ers. Oh, Juwan Jennings, another guy that has missed time. So this is a huge blow for a San Francisco team that's looked good, that is off to a nice start. They're 3-0. They came back and won in a pretty wacky game against the Cardinals at home, 16-15. But Nick Bosa is one of the best pass rushers in this league. That is a huge blow.
That is unfortunate, especially for the Niners having dealt with as many injuries as they have. On the other side, I'm blanking on the name, James Conner. Did you mention that James Conner is also out for the season?
I did not.
On the other side of that game, did I just rob you of a headline?
No, I did not have that in there. But yeah, that was significant for the Cardinals.
Yes. So for the Cardinals, for the Niners, those are 2 critical pieces to the NFC West competition that is playing out there. Niners have held serve, to their credit. I mean, they're managing the situation as best you can, given the amount of people that they have missed, whether it be Kittle or Purdy or now Bosa. Their wide receiver core is still lacking. Although Ricky Pearsall, did you watch any of that game? I caught
Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane.
At the end.
A holding call in the end zone late set it up to where the Niners still could win by a field goal, but the holding call was against San Francisco. So that made it from a 13-13 game to a 15-13 Cardinals lead with 3:15 to play. But the Niners did get it back, and Mac Jones led a 10-play drive to set up an Eddie Pinheiro 35-yard field goal, the game winner at the end. And Mac Jones wasn't as lights out as he was in week 2, but got the job done. And it sounded like Brock Purdy was actually close to coming back this past weekend. So the Niners will play the Jags this weekend at home, this coming Sunday. So may not get the Mac Jones revenge game there. If Purdy was close last Sunday, you imagine he'll be in good position to return this coming Sunday. But, yeah, close game. And there was never a lead more than, it was 13-6 at one point. But other than that, it was 6-3, 15-13, and then 16-15 the final.
Was Mac Jones a Jaguar long enough to get a revenge game against the franchise?
Yeah, I think any amount of time you spend there qualifies. It's like the Titans legend thing. You spend 5 minutes here, Titans legend.
Hey, man, Titans legends all over the place. You got Khalif Raymond, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins last night. You can't look up in a primetime game, it seems, and not see a Titans player that you're familiar with from the last, 6 or 7 years. Just quickly, to give you an update. So Brian Callahan is going to speak. It was previously unscheduled before the coordinators go at 11 a.m. today. It is, again, not a firing type situation. He would not be speaking if he was getting fired. They have not specified what is happening. They are also saying not to sound any alarms. So just so you know, 11 a.m. coordinator scheduled. Brian Callahan at some point before then. I doubt it ends up live stream.
Yeah, it feels like just the same thing as coordinators, just Callahan with people in the room. No live stream.
It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, is he trying to, I don't know if he wants to clear something up. Clearly, this is not like an off-the-record situation, right?
Not
it's a press conference. He's going to be asked questions. Reporters will be tweeting, I assume taking video.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'll be interested to see exactly why that is.
Is him giving it? So let's reckless speculation at your convenience, if you would. Can I get the Blame Bishop alarm? Thank you. I mean, let's speculate that he's going to give up play calling. Is it a good thing?
Well, Ross, can we hear from Brian Callahan? He was asked yesterday if that would be a consideration after an 0-3 start to the season, whether or not he would consider giving up offensive play calling.
Yeah, I mean, everything's under evaluation right now at 0-3. Certainly, it's all a part of it. That's players in their roles. That's everything. I mean, we got to find a way to put ourselves in position to win a game. So we're evaluating everything.
Okay.
Not to speculate, but this is not.
No, you can. We played the reckless speculation. You're allowed.
It doesn't sound like this is going to even have the time to be a full-blown press conference. He just did one yesterday.
No, I think it's going to be like 5 minutes before.
Right,
and they're going to be like, hey, just so you know.
This is going on. I don't know.
That's at least the only place that my mind reasonably jumps to. But we'll see. They're clearly in self-preservation mode. If he thinks that he can do the job better as the CEO of the program without having the responsibility of calling the plays in game, I suppose we can find out if that's going to be successful or not. And this feels like a pretty pivotal moment to do it. Now, does that save him outright? I couldn't possibly. That would, again, be more speculation. He does feel like if he goes 0-4, specifically at Houston, that would likely be the end of the Brian Callahan experience. But they're clearly allowing him to figure something out here. They also don't want to fire a coach in September because then they would look like fools. So we'll keep you updated, I suppose.
Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. There were some crazy games on Sunday. We already talked about Niners and Cardinals. 3 blocked field goals in fourth quarters on Sunday.
It was ridiculous.
Insanity. Packers, Cleveland, a Green Bay potential game winner was blocked by the Browns, who win 13-10. Rams, Eagles, a potential game-tying field goal was blocked and returned for a touchdown by Jordan Davis. And Jets, Bucks. The Jets blocked a Bucks field goal that was returned for a touchdown by Will McDonald, and yet still the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to build a game-winning drive out of it and set up a game-winning field goal that was converted as they get to 3-0. The Bucks, by the way, 3 straight games to open the season with game-winning drives in the final minute of the game. It has never happened in NFL history.
Did you, you probably did not, and I'll endeavor to find it because I didn't think about it until you just mentioned that, but John Ledyard, who we know covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers closely. He does a lot of NFL draft analysis, and like I said, he keeps a close eye on the Buccaneers, put out a tweet regarding just how many different things they were without heading into this game and what they were still able to overcome. They were heavily penalized. They were without a bunch of their starting offensive linemen. And their quarterback is playing at a very high level at this point in time. It's really, I mean, it's good for us because we picked the Bucs to be in the Super Bowl to lose to the Ravens.
Baker's playing like an MVP candidate.
He really, really is. And I don't know if he's going to get that benefit of the doubt in that situation because, I don't know, Baker Mayfield doesn't feel like a popular vote type of guy. Maybe that's just a vibe that he gives off. This is the tweet, by the way, from John Ledyard at Ledyard NFL Draft. The Bucs had none of their starting 5 offensive linemen playing their actual position. No Godwin, no McMillan. Finished the game without Mike Evans. Dropped 4 passes. Committed 14 penalties for 124 yards. Went 1 of 5 in the red zone and won.
Goodness.
And won the game. Insanely well-built team. Insanely good quarterback, he adds. And also the refs were wilding out of their minds today. So I did not have an opportunity to watch that game yet. But it sounds like they have the things to overcome the kind of mistakes that you see the local team making, except the Titans don't have that talent profile. What, Ross?
Well, to be quite frank, too, because I was able to see that game via Sunday Ticket, they were dominating that game. The Jets had a great comeback effort and obviously the blocked field goal, but Tampa was dominating for a majority of that game.
Yeah, they were up. Obviously, I do the scoreboard on Titans Radio, so this was a game that I had already typed out my copy for the post-game scoreboard. Bucks cruise against the Jets, right? Because I'm trying to work ahead, and I see a lopsided score. And then I looked back, and it went from 23-6 in the fourth quarter to 27-26 Jets because they blocked a field goal and ran it back. So credit to them. They rallied. They did not have Justin Fields. Tyrod Taylor started this game. Fields dealing with concussion. But the Bucks, in the end, just outlast the New York Jets. But they were playing a bad football team with their backup quarterback. Also, Aaron Glenn, did you see the celebration after the blocked field goal return?
The Earth, Wind, and Fire behind it? September?
Oh, no.
Did
it match up?
Spectacular, yes.
That's fantastic.
It's a whole ordeal. 615-737-1045, by the way, is if the number if you would like to jump in. Some of you are calling in. We will take your phone calls later.
The Rams-Eagles game also was insane.
Yes.
Speaking of comebacks.
That I did watch.
The Rams dominated this first half. Rams were up 26-7 in the third quarter before the Eagles rallied. Jalen Hurts with a touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert, a touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, and a touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. All three of his touchdown passes in the second half, 2 in the third quarter, 1 in the fourth. And then, of course, the Jordan Davis return of the blocked field goal, which if he had just fallen on it, the game would have been over. But at that point, you got to scoop it. You got to run. He hit 18.59 miles per hour on that blocked field goal return. Incredible. I mean, that will get you a speeding ticket in Athens. He was running so fast.
That is the thickest of thick sixes, by the way. That man was moving. That's a lot of man moving way too fast. Did you see? So I don't know. Does Maria Taylor do like a post game interview for Sunday Night Football digitally every week, or was this just?
I think it's for Football Night in America. It's for the pregame leading up to Sunday Night Football.
Oh, that's right, because they weren't on Sunday Night Football. So this was for the pregame, as Lucas mentioned. She was interviewing or getting ready to interview Jordan Davis, and it was within a reasonable amount of time after the game. And Jalen Hurts comes into the room where Jordan Davis is being interviewed digitally. And it was just a really cool moment because Jalen Hurts is not a very outspoken individual, he's just not very public, at least with a lot of his dialogue. But to see Jalen Hurts in that moment hyping up Jordan Davis while he's waiting to be interviewed by Maria Taylor was a really cool moment, a really nice moment. And you can see why people look to Jalen Hurts and his leadership, even if he's not the most vocal leader externally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they couldn't even really get going in the run game.
Good stuff.
In this game. Saquon Barkley, 2.6 yards per carry. Jalen Hurts obviously added a push in the run game, quite literally, and A.J. Brown with a 100-yard game. Correction, though, the Rams were not setting up a game-tying field goal. They were setting up a game-winning field goal at the end. Rams were looking for the 29-27 win. Instead, it is blocked and it was run back. So, wild weekend of games in week 3. The Chargers are 3-0, but Najee Harris is out for the season. Big blow. Jim Harbaugh confirming that. Yeah, the Achilles tear that will end his season prematurely. Amarian Hampton looks good. The draft pick out of North Carolina. They've got Titans legend Hassan Haskins in that room as well. But we know how Jim Harbaugh wants to operate. Running back depth, crucial for the Chargers. This was not good news for a guy that they paid, what was his deal, 1 year, $9.5 million in the offseason?
Yeah, and they're already down offensive linemen coming into the year, so they're up against it that way. This is what happens to contenders in the NFL. The roster that you start the season with is almost a shell of the roster that you end up heading into the postseason or, competing for a postseason spot with by year's end. It's just the nature of football, unfortunately. They need an efficient running game to continue to make Justin Herbert the best version of himself. He has been playing at an incredibly high level, but you don't want to have to, if you want to see Justin Herbert do well, if you care about seeing good quarterback play or a quarterback live up to his potential that his draft pedigree would suggest that he should, you want to see the best version of Justin Herbert. You want the Chargers' run game to still be able to last that way. Hassan Haskins is, we really never got a good look at him as a running back. He's a special teams demon, But beyond that, like, I don't really know, at least from his time here, I don't really know what to make of Hassan Haskins as a supplementary option to Amari and Hampton, like you mentioned.
By the way, Keenan Allen, 33. Playing like he's 23. He's got 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games of the season. And it's not like Keenan Allen, to his credit, has not had any major drop-off. Like last year, he took a step back in production, still had 7 touchdown catches in Chicago. The year before that, he was a 1,200-yard receiver at the age of 31. So Keenan Allen just doing what he does, and that connection has been reestablished with Justin Herbert in L.A. Speaking of the Chargers being 3-0, how many 3-0 teams are there after Week 3?
5.
6.
Okay.
How many 0-3 teams?
There were 5 last week 0-2, or 10 last
10.
week 0-2.
There's at least 5.
Let's say 6.
6.
Okay.
6
and
3-0.
6. How about that?
6-0-3. Jets, Saints, Titans, Giants, Texans, Dolphins.
Oof.
Who has had the most disappointing start to the season relative to preseason expectations?
Texans. Right?
Yeah, it's probably the Texans.
Of those teams that you just named, because you named a bunch of bottom dwellers and the team that was expected to win their division.
New York teams, you kind of knew what they were going to be. Giants had a brutal slate to start the season. Vibes were weird in Miami, really, all offseason.
Yeah.
Saints expected to be the worst team in the league, and we understood what the Titans season was going to be this year. So, yeah, it's easily the Houston Texans. Okay, most surprising 3-0 team between
Colts.
Chargers, Bills. Yeah, the answer is Colts, actually. It's not even close.
You don't even want to let him play the game?
No, Ross
Not
was
a
right.
question.
Ross was right to shoot it down. Chargers, Bills, Eagles, Bucks, Niners, Colts. It's easily the Colts with Indiana Jones bursting onto the scene.
All right. How is Joe Shane feeling today? With Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia doing what he's doing and Daniel Jones in Indianapolis doing what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, how are New York Giants fans feeling today? Because they thought that Daniel Jones was their biggest problem, and then they move on from Daniel Jones. And listen, I'm not saying that he's been above and beyond excellent unto himself. He's on a stacked team with a cheat code of a tight end, which just happens to be his favorite target so far through these first 3 weeks. But if you're New York sports fans, man, if you're a Giants fan, you got to be looking around and be like, what are these guys still doing here? What are we even talking about?
Well, and Russ was awful against the Chiefs after that 450-yard performance against Dallas.
And they're talking about everything on the table there, too, as far as a change at the quarterback position.
And they kept on, I don't know, did you watch the Sunday night game?
It was on in the background.
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying close attention to it.
They kept putting Jackson Dart in on, like, these packages. He got 3 snaps on Sunday. And for me, it's like, what are you doing to your fans, man? Because every time they saw Jackson Dart come in, after Russ has been struggling the whole game, and they start to go nuts. Oh, here we go. It's happening. And then, he did a little misdirection. He hands it off. He runs for next to no gain. And then they bring him back to the sideline, put Russ back out there just to get booed. Like, what are we doing with the Jackson Dart little package stuff? Like, if you're going to play him. Either ride with Russ or put in the rookie. They're obviously going to put in the rookie at some point this season. It feels inevitable. But, yeah, the Giants came crashing down on Sunday night.
I was going to say, I think the only thing, the real hope they have is that they're about to have a rookie backfield because of the Jackson Dart Russ situation. Also, Tyrone Tracy getting hurt in that game, so likely Scadaboo about to be running back 1.
Is awesome.
He's awesome.
He's so cool. 61 receiving yards, 60 rushing yards. He had a touchdown on Sunday. Yeah, just a bowling ball. That dude just refuses to go down. And we all knew that from watching him at Arizona State and how awesome he was in the playoff and all of last season. But, yes, Cam Scadaboo being good as a rookie has been very fun to watch.
So we have a bit of a conundrum here because typically we do Oh No next, but there's going to be some kind of update from Brian Callahan.
Push it.
Because we don't have a high school football here today.
I don't believe we do. We can push Oh No to 11:45.
Let's make it 11:45. We'll keep you updated with what Brian Callahan's unexpected press conference is going to be about here in the next 20 minutes or so. We'll get to your phone calls, too. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 Zone. All right, we'll get to your phone calls here in just a second. We're going to push Oh No. Do we have things to give away, Ross, for 11:45?
We do. We have a family 4-pack of tickets to see Nashville SC host Houston this Saturday, plus a $100 A Moment's Peace gift card.
Hey.
All right, very good. So that will be at 11:45 today because we have some level of news item from Brian Callahan. We are speculating that it is the head coach moving in a direction where he would give up play calling responsibilities because his in-game management has been, diplomatically, a mess. And so this has saved coaches before. If it ends up working, that's all well and good, but it does beg the question, if you hired a coach with offensive play calling in his background, I know he wasn't the exclusive play caller in Cincinnati.
But you hired a coach to be the offensive play caller.
You hired that to protect yourself from the thing that happened to you last time with Mike Vrabel, which is Arthur Smith got hired away to become a head coach because he had a really good year as an offensive coordinator. Matt LaFleur before that got hired away to be an offensive coordinator, or rather to be a head coach after having success here as an offensive coordinator. This is something that you see a lot of teams doing to kind of protect themselves against some level of coaching attrition. Nick Sirianni was in this situation before, and there was a much more pressurized situation just by nature of it being Philadelphia, that fan base, that media core, that organization, and championship aspirations as opposed to what's going on in Tennessee, which is just stop the bleeding already. But it does not mean that he will, it could save him from being fired in season, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
It does not mean that it would protect him from being let go at season's end.
We'll see if this is actually what
we don't
this
know.
is about. We have no idea.
We don't know.
But it's just trying to think of what else could it be. I'm not sure. We do have an old friend on the line. Look who it is.
You want to do this now?
Yes. We haven't heard from the coach yet. We'll tell folks when there's something to tell folks. Nothing's happened.
Okay, let's do it. Cheeseburger. Hey, buddy.
What's going on, Buck Rising? How y'all doing?
We're great. Thanks for calling. It's been a while. Where you been?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm living down here in Florida. We're living in Auburndale, Florida down here, so I'm not too far from the Tampa area.
Okay, very good. What you got?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Titans and also Florida State. I think the Titans. I think they should kind of maybe look how the Bucks are playing these days. I think Brian Callahan should learn from Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles down here. I think he's the right fit for the Bucks down here. The Bucks are doing good, so I think the Titans should learn from them and maybe draw some trick plays for Cam Ward, because Cam Ward, I think he can lead this. I think he can lead the Titans to the promised land here in the near future. And also, can you hit on a little bit about Florida State and them playing Virginia, and maybe you take Florida State Miami game. Whoever wins that game in a week could play for the national championship this year.
Hell yeah! You got a rap or no?
Yeah, I think you rap song. Yeah, I'm living down here in Florida. I'm still rooting for the Titans. Oh yeah, let's go. The Titans, Tennessee Titans. I think they're gonna make a comeback this year. Oh yeah, Florida got nice weather down here. We got 90-degree weather. Some days 80-degree weather. Oh yeah, it's all part of Florida, baby. Let's go Titans. Let's go Florida State. It's a Buck Rising show all day, every day. Buck Rising and Cheeseburger show all day, every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Cheeseburger. Good to have you back, bud.
Damn. Cheeseburger trying to box me out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was on your side, Cheeseburger.
I needed that.
Man.
I needed that.
He sounded a little subdued, though.
I don't think he was expecting me to, go. I think he wanted me to react to his sports opinions first before I demanded a rap from him.
It's only happened every time he's ever called in. Ross Slay is in the chat. He said cheeseburger with no cheese. Dude, that was just a hamburger. Who orders a hamburger? Have you ever met anybody that just orders a hamburger?
I'm a weirdo about food. I would never. Even the lactose intolerant, right? Among us, you have to have cheese on a burger. You can't just be eating hamburgers out here. That's sociopathic behavior. So, with all... Somebody said nobody boxing out Lucas with that wagon.
That's right. Let's get Slay in here and post
you
up.
You can't even get close to him. It's literally... That thing will social distance you.
Glass cleaner.
Oh, God. How about Sean in Murfreesboro? Hey, Sean.
Hey, Mark. Good morning. And I appreciate you guys for the most informative show that I always listening here. I do have a question from you, and because you're the one that go into that briefing room with Titans. Question is, when you see the champions that they get trophies in footballs and soccer and volleyballs, they do have vision. They have task. They have to do it in a year basis, daily basis, 3-year goal. What is Titan vision? What's the goal? What's the mindset here? I mean, I never got this from any radio station or reporter. I don't know if you have that answer, or you can ask the head coach or Miss Amy. What is our goal to be a Titan? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Thanks for the call, Sean. I appreciate it. So they keep, and in fact, they've asked me a couple of times about this, how I felt about their messaging this offseason. Which is patience over panic, which is they expected to be a lower level team this year. We expected them to be a lower level team. The thing that has people up in arms is that the coach is being hyper scrutinized because his in-game management is a struggle, to be quite kind about it. It has been objectively bad in very public instances. Patience over panic is the thing that they are preaching because they feel that they need time to build a championship program and compete at the highest levels. That's the way that Mike Borgonzi, the new general manager, did it in Kansas City. It's the way that Chad Brinker, the president of football operations, did it with the Green Bay Packers, where he was for 13 years prior to coming over here. Brian Callahan was also a part of that in Cincinnati, and they didn't win a championship, obviously, but they went to the Super Bowl, understanding that they had a roster that needed some time to build around Joe Burrow, and then once Joe Burrow got enough, they went. So the vision is, hey, just give us a beat here. We got some work to do. We want everybody to know that we are working on it and that we will endeavor to raise the floor of the roster this year, and they've done so with that draft class for sure. But the fact that the coach is such a talking point, like Lucas, you said something to the effect of, we can't open 2 of the 3 radio shows following a Titans game with coach's decision bad type stuff.
Well, my whole point was Brian Callahan never had to start the season 3-0, right? It's not even about them being 0-3. It's not. It's about the context of 2 out of those 3 losses, that the biggest headline has to do with in-game decision-making, operational stuff, situational stuff. That's what Brian Callahan can't afford, for that to be the storyline around this team. Not as crazy as it is to say, he can afford for them to lose games. We expected them. They expect to lose games. The vision is to build a team essentially from scratch through the NFL draft, which is how most high-level teams are built. So you understand the vision. The problem is, right now, it hasn't played itself out in terms of an identity on the field. Callahan hasn't spoken yet?
I'm not seeing updates yet. Okay.
Quick news.
Well,
Mike Evans out multiple weeks with the hamstring.
Tehran just tweeted, because obviously I'm not at the press conference because we're doing the radio show. Yeah, I guess it's probably going to be in the next 2 or 3 minutes at this point.
So 10 minutes. Sorry.
Did you put that on a poll today, by the way? Did you put the tardiness thing on the poll?
If you did, I don't. What is this? The thing that you're doing? I
have time for this, Lucas.
You're telling me, it's getting exhausting.
Yeah, Buck, why aren't you putting the show?
Oh my goodness! Just stop the bit.
Let's see.
Yes, it looks like you did.
Do you care that Brian Callahan is late to press conferences? 54% say no. So he does have a tendency to be not on time for these things. At Buck Rising is where you can vote on the polls that Lucas puts up, even though he denies them, which is the biggest lie. No, what is the biggest lie that you've ever told?
This is the weirdest lie that you carry through. I don't know why you, but I'm going to stop trying to understand
that nobody can hear him when his microphone is off, but mine's on. That's the biggest lie that Lucas has ever told.
The radio audience can't hear me.
I've never seen Lucas physically type out a poll, so I don't know what you were talking about.
Well, he pulled a me today. He strolled in here at 9:58. Ooh, what are you doing?
We all
didn't have.
What happens if neither of us are here?
Also a lie.
Apparently, they are live streaming on the app.
Okay.
And we got a comment on the F&M Bank chat, too. Zach Lyons back here just made me aware of it.
Well, I don't care about that. Shut up and pull up the press conference.
They're talking about you being late to primetime.
Go.
Should we just hit a break then?
I don't want to miss it. I would rather just kind of hold here until it happens, as opposed to going a break and then missing it, because it can't be that much, right?
It says 11 a.m. I think he's just going to step up at the right before coordinators do at 11 a.m.
All right, Ross, go to break. All right, so we are awaiting Brian Callahan at the podium. Apparently, they're going to live stream that today. This press conference was previously unscheduled. He does not typically meet with the media on Tuesdays. That is exclusively for coordinators. The speculation, not reported, not confirmed, but the speculation is around play calling. Could it be something else? I suppose. Why it would be something else would be confusing, but I suppose we'll find out together at whichever time he does get to the podium. Right now, Lucas is keeping an eye on the team website. Ross is prepared to go to the live stream when we are rolling.
He left it on the table yesterday.
Well, it's the first time I wouldn't say shot it down, but kind of be like, no, I'm going to continue to do this.
Everything is in consideration, were basically his words.
LT3 on YouTube says, so he's late to this one too. I mean, he's not there at 11 o'clock. The thing was scheduled for 11 o'clock. This wasn't scheduled either. So, I'm more forgiving on this because this is not a normal thing. But we'll see. We'll see what he ends up deciding. Doesn't matter who calls the plays if Brian Callahan is in what feels like, I know we're now officially into week 4, but if it's a lame duck situation, does it matter who's calling the plays?
Yeah, I think it could.
Okay.
I think it could.
He's up on Twitter, it seems. Ross, you ready?
He's not up on the team website that I'm seeing.
So we will see when Ross is ready for that, at which time we will go to the press conference.
Twitter stream's a little ahead.
Let's go.
No, we're good. Thank you, though. Appreciate it.
So I said yesterday, a lot of things under evaluation and a lot of things that you self-reflect on at the start that we've had so far and things that we got to get better at. And one of the things that I think is going to help our football team, help me be a better head coach for our team, is I'm going to hand over the play calling to Bo. And part of that process is part of the decision-making in that process is that, Bo's been had some interim experience calling. He's been with the rookie quarterback before. That part of it will make it a little bit seamless in that regard. The other part of it is that our offensive staff and our game planning process and system is going to remain in place. It's still a collaborative process. We rely on everybody to do their part. Nick is still the offensive coordinator. He'll still maintain his same exact routine and process that he's gone through to help me. And then Bo is going to step in as the play caller on Sunday. It'll allow me to do a little more with our team and with all 3 phases, pay more time and attention to those things and less in the weeds of getting ready to game plan. And one of the things I told the team and told the players after our game is that, look, everyone owns a mirror, right? We can all look at it. We can all see where we need to be better and what can help us be better. And I think this is one of the best things for us at the moment to help me do a better job as a head coach and be more present and available for the football team and less involved in just the day-to-day minutia of getting ready to call a game. So I think it's going to be positive for us. I think it'll help. And I think at the end of the day, too, for our players, it's the same thing. As if there's nothing I love more than offensive game planning and calling plays. And for me to be able to do this for the betterment of our team and to put us in a better position, I think we should get the same from everybody that's involved in the process.
How did Nick take it when you decided to jump over him and go to Bo?
He took it well. He's a professional. He understands that's the way that these things go sometimes, but his role isn't changing in terms of what he's doing and how he's doing it. His role in the process, his role on game day, all those things are exactly the same as they were before. And again, the play calling thing sometimes gets a little bit overblown, if you will, because everyone's got a role and we all got a process. Bo's still in charge of the third down game plan, and Tyke and Mike McCoy do the red zone, and Nick does all the base downs, and Randy does the screens. And so all those things are all going to stay the same. It doesn't change that process any bit whatsoever. It's just, the plays are at the end of the day on Sunday coming out of somebody else's mouth. I'll be still very present in the process. I'm involved in it, but it's just going to allow me to do more around the team and in both other phases besides offense and special teams and defense. So it's not really, to me, at the end of the day, it's pretty normal in this league for things like this. This isn't some seismic shift or crazy change. It's just trying to help me do my job a little better and let some other people take on a little bit more.
You were hired largely because you were a play caller.
Yep.
So it seems like a self-demotion, if you will, or whatever. What's kind of your feeling at needing to give it up when it was a big part of the reason that you were the choice here?
Yeah, again, it's a pretty easy thing to do when it comes to trying to help the football team win and do the best thing for, what the job is. I got hired to be the head coach, and part of that process was being involved on offense, but my job is to be the head coach of the football team. And I think that this allows me to do that job a little bit better, pay more attention to some things that might require my attention and be more present. So all those things are normal. I think it's all part of, where we're at. We're 0-3, and so we're trying to get better. And I think that's my same message to the players as it is here right there at this podium.
So it sounds more as if it's more about you trying to get more of a big picture feel for yourself as it is to kind of a disappointment in your play calling. Is that?
Yeah, I have zero disappointment in my play calling. I mean, I don't have any disappointment in that at all. But it's just more so I can see the rest of it, see the big picture better, and do a better job of it.
Talk about, I guess, two parts of coaching: schematic and then position coach, dealing with technique, fundamentals, and all that. How will Bo kind of divide his time and trying to do both well?
Well, that's why we have a whole staff still. That's why I'm still involved in it. I think that everybody still has. That's why nothing's changed. There's no disruption to the routine. There's no disruption to the weekly process. That's all the same. The system doesn't change. We're still going to run the offense we've worked and repped and invested our time and energy into for the last, whatever it is, almost 2 years. And that's not going to change any. And so Bo's still going to coach the quarterback. That's still part of his job. Again, he's taken over the play calling responsibility on Sunday. So he'll have to be in a couple more things that maybe he wasn't involved in directly as the quarterback coach. But the roles and the processes are still in place, and he's got a lot of help and a lot of people here that do a really good job to help put him in position to call the game Sunday.
Nothing will change, but how will that work going forward as far as Bo working with Cam Ward as far as what plays he wants up, wants down, and that whole overall conversation?
All the same. Those conversations happen with all of us anyway. I'm in that quarterback room with those guys, and they were all a part of it, both Bo and Nick. I mean, those guys are together all day long and with the quarterback. So that doesn't change any. Those conversations weren't private to me only. I mean, those guys are all in the mix. So again, it should the disruption to what is happening and how we do it is going to be very minimal.
This is related to what some of the issues that you discussed yesterday. Some of the questions surrounding you, and decisions in the first 3 weeks of the season. Is this the kind of thing that you want to?
I think it's less of that. I mean, that's all a part of the process, certainly. But yeah, I think it's more just so I can be a better head coach and not just an offensive play caller. I think that's the biggest thing I think that's what we need right now, and that's my job to make that decision and put myself in that spot to help us win football games. And like I said before, I don't have any preconceived notions about it. I've been open about, if this was the best thing for us, then I would do it. And I think that at the moment that's where we're at.
Would you consider Mike, given that he's got the most experience as a play caller?
Yeah, there was consideration, certainly. Mike's been in the role here just for a shorter amount of time, and he's a very valuable piece for me. Mike's been both from a schematic standpoint and a personal standpoint. He's been phenomenal, and I think that, again, the idea was to try to take as much disruption and minimize that for the process. And I think everybody's got a really good role on offense right now. They know what's expected. They know how to do it. They've done a really nice job. So trying to keep as much disruption away from that as possible and feel good about where we're at.
What makes Bo a good coach? And were you afraid you might even lose him at some point this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, Bo interviewed with some teams for some coordinator jobs. He's widely respected around the league. I got a lot of respect for how he goes about his business. I know the type of coach he is. I know what he's capable of, and I know how he goes about his process. So all those things are all really positive for us, and I'm glad we have him. And I think he's going to do a really good job.
You and Chad and Mike have been pretty open about the way that you lean on each other. How much of discussions with those guys led to making this decision?
Yeah, that's all part of the process. We communicate daily. We talk about everything. There's nothing that goes on over the course of the day that I don't have a conversation with both of those guys at different points, sometimes together. But our communication, I think, is what leads to our strength and our ability to operate. And these jobs sometimes require, some self-reflection and decisions that maybe sometimes personally you struggle with, and you got to look real hard at yourself and do what's best for the team. And I think that's ultimately what where we're at and what we're trying to do is we want to win. We want to win games, and we want to put our team in great position to do so. And that's what the fun in this profession is. It's not fun losing football games, and we want to put ourselves in a better spot. And I think that's was all part of the discussion.
So is that something that they suggested or just endorsed?
No, that's something. This is something that I felt like would help us the most. And we talked through it. I think we talked through the pros, cons, all those things, and ultimately at the end of the day, felt like this was going to be the best thing for our football team moving forward, and allow us to allow me to do a better job as a head coach, and allow our coaches to coach, and our players to play. And I think that's the general mindset from the whole thing. And again, this isn't like it happens. It's happened all the time. This is not an abnormal process for guys in these roles, and for how these processes work, and trying to be better at the end of the day. And that's all I ask of our players, and I'm no different. So I'm trying to do a better job at the job that I have.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So Brian Callahan is no longer going to call offensive plays. It is not offensive coordinator Nick Holtz either. It is quarterbacks coach Bo Hardigree. Should we take a break and see if the coordinators are live streamed? We can react to all of that if not, coming up next. Erectile dysfunction can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But there's good news. There's real help. Since 2014, the Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of guys get back to feeling like themselves. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health issues. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Going from that quarterback coach to a role like this, being a play caller, I mean, I'm with him every day. You know, I talk to him every day. I check in on him at night. We have meetings. We got a meeting this afternoon. So, you know, that's not going to change. And it'll just be, you know, me and him rocking and roaring on Sunday.
What did Brian tell you maybe making this change? What was that conversation like, if you could share some of that?
You know, he made the decision yesterday.
All right, to it. Bo Hardigree, the new offensive play caller for the Titans, is up at the podium. We go now live.
That's the good thing with the stability of everything. You know, the workflow is that, and then it's just the only change is just me calling on Sunday.
I know it's fresh, but the conversation with Nick Holtz, Mike McCoy, obviously they're going to help you. How has that been so far?
It's been great. You know, we all work together. This is you know, it's obviously one of the best staffs I've ever been on. I mean, these guys, they draw from their experiences, draw from my experiences. They're all from different places, but you know, again, it's all about the players and putting them in the best spots. And you know, you only get a certain amount of calls on Sunday, and just got to hit on those. And they
haven't done called plays before. Like, where are you as far as weighing analytics versus your gut? I know like different guys have different.
Absolutely, but you know, some things always come down to where you are in the game. I mean, there's so many different scenarios you can go through. Obviously, analytics help you get out ahead of it, right? You can look at that, where you are in the game, where's the players, you know, what type of game has it gone to? You know, there's obviously the game's changed quarter to quarter, half to half. But yeah, all that goes into it, and really you have, you know, just a couple seconds to make that call. So
you've been on the field, and Nick and Mike upstairs, correct? Is all those logistics things?
Yeah, we're going to kind of take it day by day this week, kind of make a decision on kind of what's best spot for the team and for myself.
Cam's still going to highlight your relationship dating back to the spring. Just what have you done to build that closeness, and how would you say he's kind of put into that relationship too?
Yeah, really just try to earn his trust to where I can coach him hard, you know, and he has that trust in me, and keep building him. He's a young player. He's really smart. He takes in a lot of stuff. He's you know, there's things that, you know, the wins aren't there, but for me in his development, the things I've seen him do from the first game to this previous game, is some of the things he's been able to do is incredible. From protection standpoint, from, you know, getting us into a better play, maybe out of a bad play into a better play, handling the run game, you know, all that stuff's been great. And he's learning, you know, situational football, you know, as the ball is moving, where are we at on the field? What do I need to do? You know, he's learning, hey, I can't hold on to the ball. I got to get the ball out of my hands, take less hits, find completions. So it's great.
You talked about getting ready for the Texans. What's the challenge for you as a calling plays for this team for the first time going against that defense?
Yeah, you know, it's a new challenge every week for an offense. You know, you obviously see, you know, who the game wreckers are. You deal with those first. Where are the advantages for us in the defense? Is it personnel standpoint, schematics? You know, what are our guys doing well? What do we need to do more of? But it's more about us than them.
In your mind, what are some of the things you have to do to protect a rookie quarterback from themselves that maybe you wouldn't have to protect a veteran from?
Yeah, just constant, subtle reminders throughout the game. You can be in their back pocket until 15 seconds, you know, on the clock is making it easy for him, whether he's at home or away, and getting him up there, letting him get to the line of scrimmage, take a deep breath, you know, whether the play matters that he needs to know a certain coverage or not, he's able to see the defense every snap, kind of know where we are in a game, and just kind of being in his back pocket there to that last 15 seconds.
Part of what Brian just talked to us about was how taking this off his plate is going to allow him to be more involved with the other things going on, especially on Sundays. We see you on the sideline in Cam's hip pocket every week. With you having to now have that on your plate, how do you think logistically that will change your ability to be with him, and does that allow Brian to spend more time with him?
I think all of the above. You know, we're all in this together. I'll still be there with him, you know, and then there'll be some times where I gotta, you know, go talk to a position group or two about some things going on in the game, or where we're gonna go with it, and kind of communicate, you know, so they can anticipate what's going to be called in the first couple plays, next third down, things like that. But you know, again, drawing from prior experiences, that helps out.
I think that'll negatively impact the attention that Cam is getting.
No, I think Cam's going to be just fine.
I appreciate you both.
Yeah, thanks. So.
Did you have that conversation with Cam? I guess.
Okay. Titans' new play caller / quarterback coach Bo Hardigree there with the media. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you would like to jump in, we'd be happy to have your participation. What do you make of Brian Callahan's self-demotion? What do you make of Nick Holtz, the current and still offensive coordinator, being passed over for play calling duties? And what do you make of Bo Hardigree, who does have experience? Now, we were scheduled to have Jason Fitz of Yahoo Sports today. We will try and get Fitzy on tomorrow. We felt it was more necessary to react to this, though Fitzy would be able to react to this with us tomorrow because Fitzy is a diehard Raiders fan. And when Josh McDaniel was fired from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Daniels.
What did I say?
McDaniel.
Didn't I? I thought I said McDaniels. Either way. McDaniel may get fired, but not that McDaniel. Anyway. When Josh McDaniels was fired from the Raiders, Bo Hardigree took over as the interim play caller in that situation and acquitted himself fairly well.
The first 8 games of that season with Josh McDaniels as the head coach and offensive play caller, the Raiders put up 15.75 points per game. They were 3-5.
And the quarterback was Aiden O'Connell?
Majority of those games, the quarterback was Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
Aiden O'Connell started one of those games.
Oh, this is when they traded Devontae Adams.
Right. Aiden O'Connell started one of those games. Brian Hoyer also started one of those first 8 games, but the vast majority were Jimmy Garoppolo. Then Josh McDaniels got fired. Raiders players celebrated. Antonio Pierce was named the interim head coach. And the Raiders played their best football in the back half of that season. Bo Hardigree took over as the interim offensive coordinator. And in the next 9 games after McDaniels got fired, they averaged 22.9 points per game and went 5-4 with Aiden O'Connell playing quarterback in every single one of those games. That included a 63-21 win over the Chargers that some people might remember watching as they went on that late surge and just missed out on the postseason, finishing with an 8-9 record.
So how do I feel about this? I think that the whole impetus behind hiring Brian Callahan was that he was well regarded as an offensive mind, that the Titans were tired of playing a run the football and play good defense type of ethos that they've been their entire existence, and that Brian Callahan was going to be the thing that helped them develop a quarterback at the time, which was Will Levis, and bring them into the modern NFL, even though it's, the trends ebb and flow every year. If you do this, and Brian Callahan is going to focus more on in-game management, which has been, we would say that's his biggest problem as
this
the Titans
season,
head coach, which is weird because the whole story of the show today was supposed to be he's making new mistakes. Why is he making new mistakes? This was not an overwhelming issue last year when they were in closer games. Why is this happening? I suppose that we will now have to reset the board for him. But, Lucas, my position is if you hired this guy for a very specific, to quote Liam Neeson, a very specific set of skills, and he's no longer going to be the person applying those very specific set of skills, doesn't this still mean that he's fired anyway?
To me, that logic makes sense, right? Because I was of the same mind. We had callers calling in for the last few weeks saying, Brian Callahan, they've got to take away play calling. And we both said, okay, well, at that point, if you're taking away the thing that you hired him for,
just fire
then what
him.
are we even doing here? But I also understand Brian Callahan, this is a lifeline here, right? So if the argument from Callahan is play calling has held him back from making better in-game decisions, that he is not experienced enough as a coach to be able to handle offensive play calling and game management, then okay, hand the play calling off to somebody who has more experience than your offensive coordinator does and just focus on the in-game management that has struggled, right? That would be the lifeline for him. If there's a scenario here where the Titans offense looks slightly improved and they look more like the team that we expected when it comes to the best case scenario. What was best case scenario for the Titans this year? Win a few games, look competent doing so.
Yeah,
and see some promise.
6-7 wins.
And see some promise with Cam Ward along the way, and don't give us reasons to believe that Brian Callahan shouldn't be the head coach of this team. So we'll see what happens from here if that getting off his plate does enable him to focus more on the in-game stuff, and we don't see as many in-game blunders as we've seen in the first 3 weeks, which, like you said, we didn't really see a ton of last year.
It's new this year.
It's not like in terms of it being so egregious, right? The end of second quarter situations, the lack of challenging the Alec Manor catch, that type of stuff didn't happen last year. Like, what was the worst moment last year where you could point to Brian Callahan, decision-making from the coaching staff, like maybe the goal line situation in Detroit where
that was a tough one.
And that was just a play-calling thing where they didn't run the ball. But in terms of just the operation,
there's nothing screaming that comes to my mind.
Nothing even
right
close
away.
to what we saw on Sunday.
No, nothing like this. Nothing this public or this egregious.
Yeah.
To your point, it feels lame duck to me, though, because Bo Hardigree was already taking job interviews this past offseason for play calling duties on other teams. And ultimately, he decided to come back here, and Bo Hardigree was very complimentary of Brian Callahan and the rest of the staff, called it one of the best staffs he's ever been a part of, which, okay, as this is right. To say that, I just think that if Bo Hardigree succeeds, then you lose Bo Hardigree, and then you're right back in this mess.
Like, so if Bo Hardigree succeeds
here, that gets him a job elsewhere. Then you're just right back to square one?
That's not the best case scenario that they're thinking. The best case scenario they are thinking is this works, things improve, it allows Callahan to focus more on head coaching duties.
But you don't think Bo Hardigree would take an offensive coordinator job elsewhere?
Why do that if it worked here and they were able to stick around for another year with Bo Hardigree as the offensive coordinator and play caller with the number one overall pick quarterback?
So maybe do you get rid of Nick Holtz? Like, Nick Holtz is a weird figure in all of this, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about this is Hardigree is the QB coach. Yeah, that is the unique part of this. Like, we can think of the example of Nick Sirianni giving up play calling, and that obviously benefited Nick Sirianni, who was hired for his offensive prowess, right, as the head coach of the Eagles. I'm sure there are other examples of coaches that got hired for their offensive play calling ability and ended up giving it up, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. I certainly can't think of an example of a head coach handing off play calling duties and skipping over the offensive coordinator to the quarterback's coach. But like we said, Hardigree's got more experience. Nick Holtz has never called plays.
Yeah, Bo Hardigree has done this before, as we mentioned, when Josh McDaniels got fired in Vegas. So... But yeah, I get some degree. I just don't know what to do with Nick Holtz then.
Yeah,
so then
I get
somebody's the odd man out.
Yeah, I get your point that if this works, and let's say it is the lifeline Callahan needs, and it turns into Brian Callahan coaching the Titans in 2026, then you would have to think that that would mean Bo Hardigree has worked his way up to be this team's offensive coordinator and play caller.
If you want to keep him.
If you want to keep him, right.
Does it resolve their penalties? I don't know. I mean, I guess it allows Callahan, because Callahan's doing more across the board than he was last year. And he's talked about this. He's talked about not really being a part of defensive meetings or being around the defensive players last year because he was hyper-focused on installing the offense. Okay, well, now you're still a part of the offensive installation, obviously, but can you succeed? Can you become better at the things that you've been lacking at, which is you're not a very good CEO of this program, nor are you a good in-game manager. You are not a plus on the sidelines. Can this be the thing? Theoretically, they're running out of lifelines, though, because if it doesn't work, then what is it's the scene from Office Space, right? What is it that you say you do here?
The Alec Manor catch, not a catch situation. There's no masking that, right? There's no good reason you can put out there for the head coach in the post-game press conference saying the rule incorrectly. But could there be something too? Let's just open minds here. Given that we didn't see this type of stuff last year with Callahan, the delay of game situation, could there be something to the preoccupation of play calling duties with Cam Ward taking up so much of Brian Callahan's energy and just mental acuity on game days that the operational stuff has taken a back seat, and maybe that has led to some of the issues that we've seen? Could there be something to that?
Sure. I mean, yes, of course. You allow for the possibility of anything in this particular situation.
And if there is, then we're going to get to see it play out. Now that Callahan is just focused on being the head coach.
So if he's not calling the plays, but they lose to Houston anyway, even if it's just they lose straight up and he doesn't have any malfeasance, is she going to keep him around? Because that's we've got wild cards all over the place here.
Well, it's like,
I don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah. How do you make up the ground, right, from the last 3 weeks? Because after all of this, Titans are still going to be outmanned.
Yeah,
most games that they play.
And the Texans aren't good, but their defense is. So I don't know. Like if they go over. Did we just do this for the sake of shuffling the deck chairs on the literal Titanic?
I mean, they're doing it, for the sake of trying to turn this thing around and get a couple of wins and show some proof of concept.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it.
Well, it's self-preservation.
Right. So I get it. Like, I get the move, right? From Brian Callahan's perspective, it makes sense. We'll see how it plays out on Sunday. Will we see Brian Callahan be a plus on the sideline down the road this season? Like, will this lead to that? Because to me, that feels like the one thing that could save his job going into 2026, right? Is us looking back at the first 3 weeks of the season and acknowledging how bad it was, but also acknowledging hypothetically how things improved afterwards in terms of the in-game operation, even if they were still losing games.
Suppose you have to allow for the possibility.
That's why they play the games.
Not here lately, but I get it. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. C-Rich on YouTube says, Buck, would you rather Callahan say we'll play better and coach better? No, I don't care what he says. I want results. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. I want to see an improved product. Like, the only thing that matters is they don't win. They don't win. And he, this year, has been a big part of the reason that they don't win. So if that changes, I reserve the right to change my mind on these things. But, you're going to have a hard time talking me into this thing is going to resolve all of their other issues. They still don't have a pass rush. Mm-hmm. They still are the most penalized team in football. They still have an offensive line that's not living up to expectation. They still have a quarterback who's making rookie mistakes, understandably, and is also taking sacks at an incredibly high rate. Like, there's this, it would be, if they do solve a single issue here, it would be a step in the right direction, because the only thing that they have solved since taking this thing over is special teams with John Fossil. The rest of it has been the same. And in fact, the thing that has gotten worse is him. So if this is a subtle improvement and he finds ways to hold players more accountable, I guess, in terms of the discipline and the penalties.
Well, the thing about, like you saying, they don't win.
They don't.
Right. We came in knowing this was not going to be a winning season.
I don't want that as a cop-out if he's making the mistakes.
It's not a cop-out. It's just the truth.
Yes,
right?
but that doesn't absolve all the other things that causes them to lose.
No, it doesn't. So if we came in already knowing that, we evaluate other things, right? Like, yeah, it sucks to be in a place where you basically know before the season starts how the season's going to go when it comes to wins and losses, given what they don't have relative to most of the teams they play, personnel-wise. Like, it stinks. I get that. So, yeah, the standard, unfortunately, the bar is low in that week over week we have to evaluate different things. Brian Callahan, this season, we didn't have the discussion of he's going to be judged on wins and losses.
No.
We didn't have that discussion.
He's going to be judged on how he handles the number one overall pick.
How does the number one overall pick look? How does he progress? How does the team look? In-game management. Those things have not been good. The number one overall pick has shown good things. He's fine. Yeah, we're not worried about him.
Yeah.
But the other stuff has not been good. The other evaluation points, which have nothing to do with the wins and losses. So does that stuff get better?
Sure.
Because the wins aren't just going to start coming. Like, Titans aren't good enough to go on a run and finish with 8-9 wins this season as a roster. Like, everybody in that building knows that. We all know that. So does all the other stuff improve? Because that's the stuff we're going to be evaluating week to week. And it can be very easy for us to come in here every week and say, all right, well, they don't win, so he needs to be fired. But we knew that wasn't going to be the case this year. So how do we evaluate the other stuff the stuff we've been talking about with Brian Callahan for the last 3 weeks, now that he's given up play calling. But that is what could save his job.
Okay, that's fine. You allow for the possibility of anything, but I think it's reasonable to have skepticism about this solving all of their problems.
Of course
when
it
they've
is.
been bad across the board. That's all I'm saying. Like, I am skeptical that this is going to solve all of the things that you just laid out that are killing them week over week. But we will see. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to participate, you are welcome to do just that. Let's start with Luke in Clarksville.
Hey, guys. So, I agree with the decision. I don't know if it'll work out, but, I was thinking about other coaches that call plays. Andy Reid, he's got Steve Spagnuolo. Sean Payton, great defense. Can't remember who their coach is.
Vance Joseph.
Yeah, defense. And, both of those guys have, 20-plus years of head coaching experience. Obviously, Sean McVay also comes to mind. But these are very veteran-disciplined teams. And by the penalties, all the mistakes, the blunders, obviously the Titans are young and very undisciplined and just lack so much that those other teams have. So I think if he can try to push his focus on fixing those other issues, let somebody handle the play calling, but it's the same playbook, then maybe it'll help. And maybe it's enough to get him a win or two. But in the long run, I don't know how it'll work out, but I do think it's the right move. So, all right, see ya.
Yeah, it's the only move he's got, right? Like, hey, don't fire me. I'll give up play calling. I'll be better at all these other things, I promise. Like, that's the move, and that's fine. I'm genuinely curious how this is going to go. I don't know if it changes anything at year's end, but it could. Alex is in Nashville next.
So I think this move should have happened, and I think Callahan set himself up for failure when he made this decision to be a inexperienced head coach and an inexperienced play caller all at once. An NFL head coach and an NFL offensive coordinator are two of the hardest jobs in coaching, and he tried to do both of them at the same time with no experience on either. This is going to have a tremendous positive impact on the in-game stuff. Is it going to solve all our problems? No, of course not. Of course not. Him being a solo head coach is not going to improve the pass rush. But the bird's eye view that he will be able to get, the things that he will see in conversations that he will have that he's not currently having now because he's worrying about the next player, the next series, or a correction from the last series, it's going to change tenfold. People don't understand how hard it is. Andy Reid didn't call plays in his first head coaching job. Look it up. And he was a play caller before he was a head coach. Callahan was not a play caller before he did this. This is going to be a huge impact. I think it's a benefit for the team, and I think we still need to have some patience and let a young head coach that we're investing in be a head coach for 2 full seasons.
That's over a minute on the clock, Alex, but we do appreciate the call. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. We'll continue to take your phone calls on just that. Do we want to do oh no? Right? Like it feels like, I don't know, I feel like we should probably stick here.
Yeah, we do have these Nashville SC tickets to give away.
Also, what do you want to do about Slay?
Let's get Slay in here.
To talk about Bruce Pearl while the Titans are changing their play caller?
I'd like to hear Slay's thoughts on Brian Callahan giving up play calling.
Well, sure, but if Slay is, going to do that on his own show, I don't want to drag him in here for something that we didn't ask him to be in here for.
I guess you just don't value his opinion.
I love Ron Slay very much.
Wow.
I'm just
tough.
trying to not inconvenience him.
So, sure. Oh, yeah, that's how you'll dress
I'm not a user like you.
So thoughtful.
Got a break. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So the Titans are making a change, but not the change that the vast majority of the fan base was hoping that they'd make. Brian Callahan is still the head coach, but he is no longer the offensive play caller. 615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to react to that. Slay has been diplomatic, and we will visit with Slay at another time. You can hear his thoughts on the play caller change on 3HL today. We were going to talk about Bruce Pearl's sudden retirement and venture. He said he's not going to get into politics, by the way, or not run for Senate is the thing that he said.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there at Auburn, but that's a topic for another day, obviously, given that Bo Hardigree, the quarterback's coach, who interviewed for offensive coordinator jobs elsewhere this offseason, has been promoted over Nick Holtz to the offensive play caller. So who's this more writing on the wall for, Brian Callahan or Nick Holtz? Because it kind of feels like Nick Holtz, no? Like, what what do I do with Nick Holtz now? I get you need an extra set of eyes in a booth.
Yeah, it'd be an unusual situation, right? An offensive-minded head coach and an offensive coordinator, neither of which call offensive plays. So, I don't know. They're just trying to dig out of a hole, though. Like that, just in the short term, and then worry about the politics of that stuff later, I guess. They're just trying to do everything that they can to dig out of this thing. I mean, the question that this boils down to is how much was the bandwidth Callahan had to devote to offensive play calling, how much did that cause some of the in-game management stuff that we saw? And how much will the in-game management improve now that he is no longer the offensive play caller? Like, that is the question now for the rest of the season, until we have new information or circumstances change, right?
I'm thinking they're trying to shake this up like in the least way possible, meaning like they're obviously making the switch, but I'm thinking that they want to keep Nick Holtz up in the booth and have Bo call plays because he's already down there on the field, and they want to have somebody, like they want to have the play caller down there with Cam during the game. Now, I don't know if Nick Holtz is even capable of calling plays or not. Like maybe he's just useless, but I'm thinking they're trying to keep somebody down there for Cam that is calling plays
that he's comfortable with.
Yes.
That he's already, what was the question or the phrasing, attached at the hip to. Anyway, 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. So we'll see what dividends are paid here.
Nick Holtz remains part of the game planning, right? Like
so does Brian Callahan. But he's still, so that's the thing. Like that's.
It's an unusual situation, but Nick Holtz isn't like sitting with his, sitting on his hands all week. Like he has a job.
But so Brian Callahan's still going to be participating in this, though. He's just not going to be the trigger man.
Yeah, and I don't know how that affects the game day operation.
That's just, it's a subtle change, but it's not like he's completely removed from the play calling process. So these are questions that obviously we don't have the answer to. We're going to have to see how it plays out on Sunday against the Texans on the road,
and
which
Callahan
is
will talk
the most
again
important
tomorrow.
regular season game to ownership of the year. So no pressure whatsoever, Bo. Go get him, bud. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Callahan will talk again tomorrow, too, at noon.
Yes.
So there will be more questions, I'm sure.
Yeah. The other part of this is the communication, like what Brett Kern was talking with us about yesterday, Lucas, for those of you who missed it. Ben Jones, Brett Kern, they're very good at coming in here and visiting with us and explaining to me why I'm so upset about the things that I watch in much more detailed and nuanced terms, which we appreciate. But the indecision of Brian Callahan in game, the coming in with conviction about what it is that you want to accomplish and living and dying with the results of what you want to accomplish, as opposed to not making up your mind on the field goal, or we're going to keep the offense out there, all these different things. Like that's a part of this. If he's able to clean it up, does that remove completely the indecision from Brian Callahan, or is it still going to be kind of a toss-up? We don't know the answer to these questions. These are simply the questions that have yet to be answered by this person who's running the team. Well, running parts of the team, for lack of a better term.
They are not the only 0-3 team making changes to grasp for answers. The Giants have officially named Jackson Dart the starter.
Well, that's their version of a lifeline, right? Brian Daboll is not giving up play call. Well, does Daboll actually call the plays? I don't think he does. Maybe he does this year, because they had an offensive coordinator for a while that Daboll gave the play calling to.
Yeah, Mike Kafka. Yeah, good question.
I believe it is Mike Kafka calling plays.
So Mike Kafka is calling plays already in New York?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. That begs the question. So it's Daboll and Callahan now as offensive-minded head coaches who do not call plays for their teams. I wonder how many more of those examples exist. I would have to go through the roster of NFL coaches right now.
Did Sirianni take it back?
No, it's Kevin Petula.
Yeah, so Sirianni is another one of those.
And it worked for Sirianni, but Sirianni has what? A significantly better roster and Vic Fangio on the other side of him.
And Kellen Moore, who ended up being a head coaching candidate.
Yeah, for sure. I just mean in terms of this year. Like Sirianni went from Steichen to was Kellen Moore directly after Steichen? I can't remember exactly. Because Steichen was the Eagles' offensive coordinator there for a while. But
it would have been Kellen Moore because Jonathan Gannon was the defensive coordinator. So
they had that weird situation with Matt Patricia I think there was one more between
Sean.
Oh, the guy that Kirby was chatting up at that was the
Brian
defensive
Johnson.
guy. Brian Johnson, I want to say, was involved there somewhere in the mix, but I can't remember exactly the timeline.
Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator of the Eagles in 2023. So, yes, I think Kellen Moore replaced him. Okay. That's what it is. And he is now the passing game coordinator and assistant head coach in Washington.
Interesting. All right, back to the phones. Titanomics.
Hey.
No.
This is a great move, y'all. But I hate it took so long. Man, this could be a Friday fire, not a Friday fire. Shit, it's not. Pardon my language. But man, it took so long for this. Why did it take so long? It's like Biden. Like, took so long to get out of office. Like, bro, your play calling ain't working, and it took Borgonzi, the mafia, bully you around to tell you to give up the play calling. Anyway, man, this guy Hardigree, I didn't know he was involved. He was involved in 2007, and he also coached there. And then also, this guy got a long list track record of coaching. I'm proud. Good day.
Thank you for the call. Good day.
VFL?
VFL or VFL nah?
VFL.
Okay.
He played at Tennessee. He didn't transfer. He was on the roster. He didn't play, but he was a reserve quarterback. Yeah, why? Oh, I didn't know he switched sports and played for the tennis team.
Oh, straight up? It's like what's the former Notre Dame quarterback that played lacrosse?
Oh, Tyler Buckner. The hold. Tyler Buckner, yeah. I didn't realize this. Bo Hardigree arrived on Tennessee's campus on a football scholarship in 2003 from Jackson. He is a West Tennessee native. He redshirted, and then there were 3 more seasons where he logged action in only one game. He ended his playing career after the 2006 season and went over and started playing tennis.
All right, I just saw a comment. I saw a comment in the chat that I want to lead the noon hour with. So we'll do that. We'll continue to take your phone callers on the Titans play calling change because many of you have thoughts, and we will get to those here shortly. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
It is 12:02. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans head coach Brian Callahan called an impromptu press conference earlier today to announce that he will be handing offensive play calling duties to quarterbacks coach Bo Hardigree. This was the Titans head coach.
And one of the things that I think is going to help our football team, help me be a better head coach for our team, is I'm going to hand over the play calling to Bo. You know, Bo's had some interim experience calling. He's been on the rookie quarterback before.
Bo Hardigree was the interim offensive coordinator for the Raiders after they fired head coach and play caller Josh McDaniels. Hardigree took over play calling for the second half of the 2023 season. In other NFL news, the New York Giants, after an 0-3 start, have named Jackson Dart the starting quarterback over Russell Wilson, the rookie first-rounder out of Ole Miss. In the college game, Oklahoma State, according to multiple reports, is firing head coach Mike Gundy, who has been an assistant or the head coach at his alma mater for 30 years. Gundy was hired as the head coach in 2005. And in college hoops, Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl announced his retirement Monday after 11 seasons coaching the Tigers. His son Steven takes over. Pearl is rumored to be going into politics. After 6 seasons at Tennessee, he won multiple SEC titles and took Auburn to 2 Final Fours. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Change in Tennessee, change in New York, change in Oklahoma, change in Auburn.
Down on the plains.
All over the place.
Wild week.
It has been an interesting news week, but of course the local news of the day is that Brian Callahan is still the Titans head coach, but he is no longer the Titans offensive play caller. 615-737-1045 is how you can jump in. Those duties have been now relegated to quarterbacks coach Bo Hardigree. Nick Holtz will remain in his position as the offensive coordinator from the booth. Bo Hardigree will call the offense or will execute the calling of the offense on the sidelines right next to Cam Ward. So they have a lifeline for the head coach. Now they have to do something with it. We understand that they have deeper issues than just the calling of the offense. The thing, and again, Lucas, in the same way that fans have so quickly jumped on play calling as being a thing that Brian Callahan is bad at, my only issue with that is I don't know if he is. You know what I'm saying? They're in so many third and longs that I feel like we're not really seeing the offense. Also, is Bo Hardigree calling the plays going to get Calvin Ridley to stop dropping the ball?
Sure. No, I mean, there are a lot of things they have not done well that you just can't attribute to play calling. Like the penalties cannot be nothing to do with play calling. In fact, the penalties have made play calling an even tougher task, right? When you're dealing with 1st and 15s and 1st and 20s rather than 1st and 10s, and that leads you to 3rd and 9s. So, yeah, it's been hard. Been hard to get a true evaluation. It's just the situational stuff. That's really what we've come away with, right? The situational stuff that has backfired for them. The approach at the end of the second quarter to go aggressive, backed up in your own territory against the Broncos, and that turning into a Denver touchdown before halftime. Obviously, the delay of game situation. This past Sunday, the Alec Iomanner catch, no catch situation, lack of challenging it, the lack of knowledge on the rule. Almost none of that stuff has to do with play calling. I guess the end of second quarter against the Broncos does, putting the ball in the air multiple times.
Yeah. And also some of that on Cam Ward, right? Because his decision making, he's still learning this too. Remember, we are only 3 games into his rookie career, and they're still trying to feel out what he likes and what he doesn't like, what he's going to be able to cleanly execute. This is my thing about play calling. We, in the same way that we don't know the exact way a play is supposed to be disseminated or executed, we don't know specifically where Cam is making mistakes until we ask him about it after the fact, like the pick six. and he pointed out that he missed a read and he threw the wrong route or made the wrong decision.
He said he communicated for Pollard to run the wrong route.
Yes, so Cam got a play wrong that was called. That is what can you do if you are the play caller if the quarterback makes a mistake, but we're already on the head coach's neck, who was also the play caller. You have to allow for, and I'm not excusing Brian Callahan. Like I said, I said it yesterday. I think that ultimately the best decision is to move in a different direction from Brian Callahan at whatever point they decide to do it. I don't think it's enough to save him as the Titans head coach here, though I reserve the right to be proven wrong, just as I've said about their fortunes as a football team. I have low expectations for you. I absolutely welcome the opportunity to be proven wrong, but we will see. So there are many different elements of this that are curious that we will not have answers to. And even after Sunday, Lucas, no matter how Sunday against the Texans go, we still won't have answers to, did Bo call a good play or a bad play? Did Cam Ward make a good or a bad decision? Because people are just going to default to the results as opposed to the process that they don't have the access to.
Right. This does kind of give it I don't even know what the word is here because it's
different. That's all it is.
Exactly. Like it's not.
We don't know, but it's
obviously
different.
you can't say blank slate, right? You can't say that 20 games into a tenure.
They're drowning, and they found a life raft. Now it may be Wilson. Yeah. They're holding on to Wilson as opposed to an actual lifeboat.
Just the volleyball. No, this gives it sort of a okay. Let's see what happens now. Feel right as opposed to what it was before, which was just an overwhelming feeling of negativity and that nothing is working for this team as they head to Houston for a game that obviously holds high importance for ownership. So it puts a really interesting spin on this week going into that Texans game.
It makes this week vastly more interesting than 2 0-3 teams squaring off.
Yeah, which, by the way, down in Houston, they're having all sorts of discussions about play calling and offensive mismanagement.
Which is
and
funny
all of
because
these
they
things.
fired Bobby Slowick and blamed him for their ills and traded away Laramie Tunsil and blamed him for their ills, and they're worse.
And it's gotten no better.
Let's hear from Brian Callahan on the decision. Again, this announcement was made at about a little after 11 a.m. this morning. If you missed it directly from the head coach, we did carry the press conference live, but we will play for you his opening statement at an unscheduled press conference in which he renounced play calling duties.
A lot of things that you self-reflect on at the start that we've had so far and things that we got to get better at. And one of the things that I think is going to help our football team, help me be a better head coach for our team, is I'm going to hand over the play calling to Bo. And part of that process is, and part of the decision-making in that process is that, Bo's been had some interim experience calling. He's been on the rookie quarterback before. That part of it will make it a little bit seamless in that regard. The other part of it is that our offensive staff and our game planning process and system is going to remain in place. It's still a collaborative process. We rely on everybody to do their part. Nick is still the offensive coordinator. He'll still maintain his same exact routine and process that he's gone through to help me. And then Bo is going to step in as a play caller on Sunday. It'll allow me to do a little more with our team and with all three phases, pay more time and attention to those things and less in the weeds of getting ready to game plan. And one of the things I told the team and told the players after our game is that, look, everyone owns a mirror, right? We can all look at it. We can all see where we need to be better and what can help us be better. And I think this is one of the best things for us at the moment to help me do a better job as a head coach and be more present and available for the football team and less involved in just the day-to-day minutia of getting ready to call a game. So I think it's going to be positive for us. I think it'll help. And I think at the end of the day, too, for our players, it's the same thing. As if there's nothing I love more than offensive game planning and calling plays. And for me to be able to do this for the betterment of our team and to put us in better position, I think we should get the same from everybody that's involved in the process.
He said it was his decision, not that it was forced on him. He said that they had conversations with Brian Callahan or with Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker, and that they affirmed his decision to give up play calling. So we don't know who may have suggested it, other than he's saying yeah, it was a tough decision. I want to do this. It's not working. Let me change something. To his credit. I mean, there's not a lot of places to give him credit. And I'm not saying that this changes anybody's opinion of him long term, but it is clearly a difficult decision, a decision that he was willing to make. If it works to their benefit, then good on him. And I think good on him anyway for recognizing that he's a part of the problem and something needs to happen here, even if it makes him more disposable at the end of the day. Because it does. It unquestionably makes him more disposable as a head coach.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, it has to turn into Brian Callahan being a plus on the sideline without play calling duties, I guess, weighing him down. That's what it has to turn into for him.
Has to.
And you don't make this move for any other reason than to show that you can be this team's head coach first and foremost and be trusted with those in-game decisions. But it's a big departure, right? I mean, last year he was pretty strident on not giving up offensive play calling. He was asked that question at points during the 2024 season.
Sure. He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be Nick Holtz. He was Nick Holtz for how long in Cincinnati? 5 years, 6 years? That was he the offensive coordinator right out of the gate with Zach Taylor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I believe so.
I thought he might have been in a lesser capacity and then later became the offensive coordinator, but I may have that wrong. I don't know that for certain. Lucas will do us the courtesy of looking that up for me. He doesn't want to be Nick Holtz. He wants to be a part of it. He wants to be.
He went from QB coach of the Raiders to offensive coordinator of the Bengals.
Okay. So he served his time in that role where he was less impactful than he might otherwise want to be. But his impact in this particular situation has been net negative as opposed to the opposite way around. And so it is forcing him to make a difficult decision that he clearly doesn't want to make, but wants to keep his job and wants to be an NFL head coach. So you have no choice but to make it. Now, he is also doubling down on his abilities as a play caller, which we will get to, as well as your phone calls coming up next. watch out. Titans have a new play caller. We'll see what dividends it pays, if any. 615-737-1045 is the number. We'll get to your phone calls here in just a second, but I do want you to hear from Brian Callahan, who is making – he said that he made the decision to relinquish play calling duties to Bo Hardigree, the quarterback's coach. You can take that for what it is. I'm sure there was a conversation with ownership after the debacle that was the Colts loss. I know that clearly because he said there was a conversation with Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker as well. But ultimately, he is saying that it was his decision, and that's all well and good. We have no evidence otherwise, so we'll take his word for it. He is still being a bit obstinate in terms of his abilities as a play caller, though. So let's hear, because Ross is dying to react to this. Let's hear from Brian Callahan on whether he thought he did a good enough job despite giving up the job to Bo Hardigree. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I have zero disappointment in my play calling. I mean, I don't have any disappointment in that at all. But it's just more just so I can see the rest of it, see the big picture better, and do a better job of it.
Okay, so he has no disappointment in his abilities whatsoever.
It's just funny, too. I've got no disappointments. My gosh.
Go ahead, say what you want to say.
Okay, so, I mean, we obviously don't put up points, so there's that for the first thing.
Yeah.
Number two, how is it that the most aggressive you've been this season when your back is frankly against the wall as a head coach on your own 5-yard line against Denver or within inside your own 10-yard line, 3 straight pass plays? That's the most aggressive you've been all season. At the worst possible time to be aggressive as an offensive play caller is when he was at his most aggressive, and then it's just been conservative for the rest of the time at the worst time, settling for field goals at inopportune times when we should be going for it. I'm just sick of it. And yeah, it's funny. It's hilarious, Callie.
We got to get you two in a room.
I'm done.
Let's go. Let's get a whiteboard out.
Did your voice just crack when you said I'm down?
Let's get a whiteboard out. Let's draw one long line down the middle. Hand Brian Callahan a marker, hand Ross a marker, and say, let's go. Scheme them up, Ross. Let's see
I'm waving my white flag as a fan.
I can arrange this. If you would like to express your displeasure to the head coach directly, I'm happy to arrange this.
Give me one drive.
One drive, he says. Put me on a headset.
I know we're going to have good field position because of Chim. Give me one drive.
Well, that is one thing that you would hold against them just generally, is that Jim Ray DK is doing his damnedest to get them in good position as an offense, and they just pee down their leg.
All right, Ross. 8:20 to go, second quarter. Ooh. You're down 7-3. Jim Ray DK's just gotten a nice, let's say, 14-yard punt return. You're on your own 40-yard line. Again, what'd I say, 8:20 to go in the second quarter, all 3 timeouts. Time, not an issue. 1st and 10. What are you running?
1st and 10, we're running play action boot. Okay. I think we've had a lot of success doing that action. I don't know why we don't do it more, but we're running that on 1st and 10. We're going to have a check down option in case, rush gets through, but we are going play action.
All right, you completed the boot to Gunnar Helm. He scampered out of bounds, 6-yard gain. Now here you are. You're on your own 46-yard line at 2nd and 4. Defense is showing blitz.
Going max protect, obviously. We're keeping Cam in the gun. We're going to keep it back in. We're going to go spread, so 2 on each side. And we're running something quick. We're running either a smash concept. We're running, some slot fade, something over the middle potentially. Just any 2-man concept on either side.
Now, they don't do a lot over the middle with Cam. And in
I
fact,
wish they did more.
Well, but in training camp, that's where the bulk of his interceptions came. Because Nate Washington also brought this up last week, where he said they don't work the middle of the field very much with the rookie quarterback. They're asking him to do stuff outside the numbers, and Nate explained why the degree of difficulty is greater on that. But we don't have an answer as to why they don't work the middle of the field more with Cam Ward, unless they're trying to protect him from himself because maybe he doesn't see things as well.
I think he sees them fine. I think the issue has just been receivers hitting their landmarks so far over the middle, and his pace on his throws has been a little hot.
Chris on the FNM Bank chat says, sack. Now it's 3rd and 15. What do you do, Ross? What do you do?
More appropriately, a sack or a false start? I'll let you pick. Did you get sacked for 3rd and 15, or is it 3rd and 8 now? Or 3rd and...
It was 3rd and 4.
Okay.
So, I mean, which one's more realistic?
3rd and 9 now. False start seems 3rd and 9 is where they live.
Yeah, and boos are starting to rain down,
All
Ross.
right,
Pressure's on.
Well, we're not able to run screens, evidently, so that's out of the game. We're going empty. We are going empty, and we are taking some type of vertical shot down the field. And we will have Tyler Lockett working a route at the sticks because I trust his veteran presence to get to the sticks.
And as soon as he gets to the sticks, he'll fall because he doesn't want to get hit.
Just get the first down, Tyler.
Reason that man's still playing.
Correct. Okay, they don't do a lot of empty with him either. You notice that?
Richie says delay of game.
All right, 3rd and 20. Surrender draw.
Surrender draw, yeah. You're a crappy play caller. Almost said it. Because you ended up in 3rd and 20 because of penalties. How do you feel?
That's right. Now your play calling
now you're Brian
is being
Callahan.
questioned, Ross, because of penalties and pass protection. How does it feel?
I have no disappointments in my play calling.
There we go. Justice for Brian Callahan. He doesn't get it often, but there it is.
Full circle. That was full circle.
Tony's going to break this surrender draw for a big game. I'm trusting him. He's going to break it.
Trust me, boys. We got it. Hand it off to the running back.
He did it against the Colts last year.
I know. I have seen many a surrender draw in my life. No stranger to it. 615-737-1045. See, we talked about doing this with you in a Waffle House menu, and now all we lack is the visor in the Waffle House menu.
I was just thinking about that. I do need to go to Waffle House, one for the food, but also just take a menu with me and get my bucket hat on, get some sunglasses. Dial up the offense. Dial up the offense for the boys.
I was thinking about Waffle House yesterday.
And how Bucks never had it?
No, I was just thinking about Waffle House, but it is crazy that you've never had it.
It's not a thing in Indiana. It's Steak and Shake.
I have been to a Waffle House in Indiana before.
Okay, but don't you go to Waffle House for drunk food?
Oh,
are you going sober?
Yeah.
Is this a thing sober?
This isn't like a cigarette thing. It's like a...
Yeah.
Are you telling me that place doesn't smell like cigarettes?
Well, yeah, of course. It's
I look at a Waffle House and I think Robert Walsh.
Sure. It's a great establishment if you need somewhere to eat at 1 a.m., but it's also at literally any time, any day, any occasion.
I feel this way about Steak and Shake. Your Waffle House is my Steak and Shake.
But that's just burgers. Waffle House.
The Frisco Melt. I mean, I guess a Frisco Melt is still technically a burger, but it's a high-class burger.
What meal from Steak and Shake or Waffle House would this Titans team be right now? Because it ain't the All-Star Special.
It would be whatever's at the bottom of the trash can that's half-eaten or somebody threw up on because they're too drunk to eat their food.
There's hair in the food.
Yeah, there's some hair there. There's
nothing bad on the Waffle House menu.
Some excrement. Oh, Darrington is up next. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to chime in. Go ahead, Darrington.
Ralph, I need your resignation by Wednesday. This is not going to cut it. This is how we're going to roll around here. Penalties on you, buddy. Sir, hey, with him relinquishing his coaching stuff, is that going to change anything about him not knowing the rules or how to use time management? I don't know if the offensive coordinator can do that. I was just wondering. And then second, I need an apology from you, Buck. Last year I called your show, and I told you that C.J. Stroud wasn't nothing, and that he was just an example of not having tape on him as a rookie. Since then, he ain't done nothing, ain't going to beat nothing, and I don't want to hear crap about no offensive line because there's only half full teams in the league that even has a good offensive line. He hasn't thrown for 250 since week 11 of last year. I need to know, so what is the big hype about CJ? I was right. I need you to apologize because you told me I was crazy and I didn't know what I was talking about, and I need to quit watching football. So I need an apology from you from that.
You know I didn't say that to you. You know I didn't say that to you. That's a lie. That's an outright lie. Also, you're wrong. Thank you for the call. C.J. Stroud is behind a bad offensive line. He's a little shook. Like he's out here spraying the ball because he's tired of getting hit. And they traded away. I mean, Laramie Tunsil's not the best left tackle in football anymore, and he gets a lot of false start penalties. In fact, I think he led the league in false starts last year. But there's no question that C.J. Stroud is a lesser player because of who he is playing behind. That's just simply
I mean, they can be related and they can also both be true. He has not looked good.
No,
he just hasn't. But speaking of, last year was the sophomore slump for C.J. Stroud, and Bo Nix isn't lighting the world on fire. Struggled against the Titans week 1. They're 1-2.
And Bo Nix has a significantly better offensive line.
Yeah.
But Bo Nix was never going to be the player that C.J. Stroud was going to be.
You know who else has a good O-line on paper? Michael Penix Jr.
Oh,
he was benched over the weekend. They were shut out by the Carolina Panthers.
I mean, some of the inaccuracies, that game, I watched the condensed version this morning just to kind of see out of curiosity. Also, Darnell Mooney, catch the ball. Show some pride out there. So bad in that situation. They were getting stuffed with regularity. Bryce Young and Tet McMillan, I'm not saying Bryce Young is going to light the world on fire. Panthers haven't won like that in God knows how long.
Panthers won 30-0 and had 224 total yards of offense. Bryce Young threw for 121. A pick six helped, but that was a dismantling in the NFC South.
Slay is in the chat since he was very kind to reschedule with us, and we will talk about Bruce Pearl another day. He says sometimes Darrington has convos with himself in his head, and then he releases all of those convos that he had in his head at once and blames you. I think that's accurate. Any other things, any other questions that we haven't covered about Brian Callahan handing off play calling duties to Bo Hardigree? We have a somewhat of a sample size of Bo Hardigree. Things weren't much better in Vegas at the time that Bo Hardigree took over play calling than they were in Tennessee. I mean, things are bad here, and the roster is bad, but it's not like, you look at Vegas's roster at the time with washed Jimmy Garoppolo and then trading away Devontae Adams and offensive line issues that they had. Who was the running back even for those Raiders teams?
Josh Jacobs was on that team.
Josh Jacobs was there.
I can't remember.
I want to say Zamir White.
Zamir White was definitely on those
Amir
teams.
Abdullah, would he have been on those teams?
Amir Abdullah has had a way longer career than I ever expected him to, and he was at one point on that Raiders roster.
Yeah. So, that 63-point game was what got Staley fired by the Chargers. And remember, that late season run.
Your boy.
That late season run got Antonio Pierce the head coaching gig for 2024. Didn't last long. But
apparently he got, and Fitzy can speak to this tomorrow, apparently Antonio Pierce got that job and just couldn't do it.
Sure. And we saw that, and it was quick, was one and done, and now it's Pete Carroll down there. But, yeah, whatever they were doing was working. Devontae Adams, by the way, was on that team. I don't think that was when he got traded. Or is that when they traded? When did Devontae Adams get traded to Vegas?
He got traded in the offseason after 2021.
Yeah, he was there for a while.
This was his second year in Vegas.
Then they traded him to the Jets.
He was on this Raiders team till the end of the season.
All the way through?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had 126 games in the Week 17 3-point loss to the Colts on New Year's Eve.
Another part of this is what they've been missing on offense, which is their offensive line health. Now, I don't know what the status of Kevin Zeitler is, but it does sound like there's at least some cautious optimism that J.C. Latham may be able to go. And we'll see what his practice week looks like dealing with that hip strain. They have not put him on injured reserve. He has a chance this week, and Bo Hardigree was also asked about that. Having J.C. Latham back on your right side would be a plus, even if he's still working through some stuff. And this is not an easy front to get right against. I mean, they're still going to have to help their tackles, given how effective. There's many things in Houston that haven't been effective so far this season. That defensive front is not one of them. They get after it, and you will see that on Sunday.
Yes, they do. I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
What in sports made you say, "Oh no"?
Oh, okay, we can do that. Do you want to play the imaging? Do we want to dive right into that, Ross, at your convenience? Are we prepared back there? Because we do have Nashville SC tickets and a $100 gift card to A Moment's Peace to give away. Go ahead.
Hush.
(615-737-1045). What in sports made you say, oh no, for the opportunity to win 2 tickets to Nashville SC's upcoming match against whom?
Houston Dynamo. Big game for both teams. Nashville trying to get back in the top 4 in the East. Houston trying to get into the playoff picture in the West, as there are only a handful of games remaining.
All right. Nashville versus Houston all week long, depending on the teams. In fact, we'll even have a Brian Callahan on the show later this week, no?
That's right. We are efforting BJ Callahan on the show tomorrow. If it works with his schedule, we will talk to Nashville SC's head coach as they are a week out from a U.S. Open Cup final and looking to make this late season push in the regular season. So Titans go to Houston, and the Houston Dynamo come to Nashville.
615-737-1045 for the opportunity to win those tickets and a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Mine is Myles Garrett. Did you see this making the rounds yesterday on the Cleveland Browns social media channels? So Myles Garrett and the Browns upset the Green Bay Packers in Cleveland this past weekend. Myles Garrett was mic'd up for sound, and he beats a Packers guard. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of the guard, but he beats the Packers guard on an inside move. And you hear just this muffled yelp of something from the Packers guard. They have Myles Garrett mic'd up after he goes to the sideline because they get the Packers offense off the field en route to coming back and upsetting the Packers that way. And Myles Garrett says something to the effect of, "You should have heard that guard when I beat him. All I hear was, 'Jordan, run!'" As Myles Garrett is screaming by him en route to Jordan Love, who throws the ball away before Myles Garrett can get to him. But apparently, once you go back and listen to the muffled sound from Myles Garrett's mic that is being picked up that the guard's audio is being picked up on, you hear, "Jordan, run!" Very scared offensive lineman against Myles Garrett, an actual pterodactyl.
That's hilarious.
My oh no.
My oh no goes to SEC officiating. I don't know how many of you were able to watch the entirety of the Auburn-Oklahoma game. Auburn lost by a touchdown. Jackson Arnold got sacked 9 times, and his revenge game was not so much of a revenge game as he went back to Norman. But there was one play where an Oklahoma receiver, Satania, reset here. Oklahoma's got the ball in the red zone, fourth quarter, and this Oklahoma receiver runs to the sideline like he is being subbed out. Acts like he's being subbed out. Auburn is making their defensive changes. Another Oklahoma wide receiver on the opposite side of the field starts talking trash with Auburn defensive backs. This receiver is their biggest outside threat, and so Auburn directs attention to him. The Oklahoma receiver that started to run off to the sideline never leaves the field. He ends up staying barely in bounds and lines up, hugging the sideline. Ball is snapped, wide open. Auburn's defense doesn't even account for him. Touchdown, Oklahoma. They end up winning the game by a score. This should have been an unsportsmanlike conduct, a 15-yard penalty for a hideout tactic, for essentially faking a substitution but actually staying on the field. It was an egregious miss by the SEC officiating crew, and the SEC put out a statement on the Auburn-Oklahoma football game admitting that this was an egregious statement, that per NCAA Football Rule 9.2, Article 2, labeled unfair tactics, no simulated replacements or substitutions may be used to confuse opponents. No tactic associated with substitutions or the substitution process may be used to confuse opponents. They say in the statement, the crew did not properly interpret the action as a hideout tactic. If properly officiated, the second down play should have resulted in a team unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of 15 yards.
Oh.
Auburn lost the game by a touchdown in a critical game for Hugh Freeze this year. It can stack up quickly on Auburn as they got to play Texas A&M next. Big win for Brent Venables in Oklahoma, but an egregious miss by SEC officiating.
Ross?
Packers offensive lineman Rasheed Walker last week saying that he felt the team was going to go undefeated or had a very good chance to, and then them proceeding to lose in Cleveland to the Browns, and Matt LaFleur having to speak about that yesterday, saying that he was not happy about that talk from his players.
Oh, no, indeed. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's squeeze a few of these in here. How about Mo up first?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Good.
So my oh no is going to be, it's really 2 in one game on the same play, and it goes back to the Tennessee game. You have this beautiful stadium, Neyland, that allows your bum team to come over here and play and pays you millions to come play us, just for your player to stomp on the kicker's foot for no reason at all.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can think of is he had money on Tennessee last week against Georgia, and he's still pissed at the kicker. But other than that, that same play, the ref was standing right there, and I just feel like that should be an offense to where, you get disqualified for the rest of the game. But it just made no sense. It really upset me because you have no chance to win. There was no reason for that, and it was just clear and blatant, and I was just like, oh, no.
No, it's a good submission. Remember to stay on hold for
Bad
the
look.
opportunity to win those tickets. Speaking of SEC officiating, why didn't he get tossed?
Yeah, I don't know. Somehow it was missed, but it was a bad look. Also, did you see Trent Dilfer taking a picture of Neyland Stadium right before kickoff?
I did.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Neither had the internet.
In my life.
He looked like he was taking a video of them running out of the tee.
Then started texting right before kickoff. The head coach is texting. I was
That's
like,
right.
what is going on? He's not long for that job at UAB, but dude won a Super Bowl. It's not like he's been in big environments before.
Not lately. Been a little while. Tucker is in Hermitage next.
Well, guys, I was just going to go with the Derrick Henry fumble. I know Ramon was talking about it like he was wearing some kind of synthetic arm sleeve on both of his arms, and the contact of the football up against that material is not as good as, just up against his skin. So he probably needs to change that. He was extremely frustrated. Just feel bad for him, coming from Tennessee. But yeah, three fumbles in 3 games is not a good look for him.
It's tough. Thank you for the call. How about, is it Daryl or Darrell? Either way.
Hey, guys.
Yo.
Hey, mine is for CBS pregame before the Titans game. They all dressed up and had a 70s look or a 60s look, and it was horrible. I don't even think that maybe at Halloween you get away with something like that, but I don't know if you guys seen it, but it was pretty rough.
Ross, your thoughts?
I love the throwback look.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was fun.
I didn't see it until after the fact, but was the coverage any different other than they looked goofy?
They had Brent Musburger in there. You are looking live, the old school graphics. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
All right, Daryl hates fun. That's all well and good. Tyler, next.
Hey, guys. My oh no is College game day. That poor kid in Miami who got not only 1 shot, but 2 shots to kick a field goal for $500,000 and muffed both of them.
Yeah, he shanked it pretty bad.
Tough scene. One more for Ann, and then we'll pick a winner. Go ahead, Ann.
Hi, I woke up on Monday morning as a Tennessee Titans fan and a Florida Gators fan, and Brian Callahan and Billy Napier both still had jobs.
Pointed.
The Titan/Gator fans are coming out lately.
Tough scene.
Didn't know there were so many.
Tough scene. All right.
Revolting.
Look at you guys with good submissions this week.
Yeah,
well
who
done
gets
by
them?
you. Well done by you. So we've got Mo with the Tennessee kicker getting stomped on. Tucker had Derrick Henry's fourth quarter fumble last night. Tyler with the Miami kid that missed the kick for $500,000. And Ann, because she's a Titans fan, a Gators fan, and both of those coaches still have jobs. Who are you picking?
I would go with Mo, personally. That was a pretty big oh no moment.
Ross?
I would go with the Ravens one because I think it affects us 3 the most, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't have any money on
It's
it.
our oh no.
I will tie break with Mo. The kicker stomp is bad. The kicker stomp is tough. Thank you for participating. As always, Mo, congratulations. You get those Nashville SC tickets and a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. I am sorry for the rest of y'all suffering, including Ann. Last call for phone calls if you got them. We'll wrap it up next.
Show's almost over. That means lunchtime. That means Hattie B's. Hey, it's Lucas. You know I would never lead you astray when it comes to where to go for your lunch break. Visit any one of Hattie B's 7 locations, the factory at Franklin, Lower Broadway, Melrose, Midtown, Nashville West, even the Nashville Airport, and at Nissan Stadium when the Titans are in action. You can order Hattie B's online as well, HattieB.com, or download the Hattie B's app. You get a free dessert just by downloading the app. We had the Southern salads delivered to the station just last week, or I got the Southern salads. Robert got the half bird, as he usually does, but got some wings. Point is, you can't go wrong. Hattie B's is a family-run restaurant. It serves up your favorite Southern food, an authentic Nashville hot chicken, hand-breaded or grilled, cooked to order. Add your spice level, hot or not, everything in between, and the sides, if you're like me, very important. They've got the best around. Try the pimento mac and cheese. Thank me later. Let it fuel your tailgate or watch party and go to HattieB.com.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. No prime time for me and Robert tonight. Robert is he back yet? Do we know? Has the bird literally landed?
I can check his location.
Oh, you have his location.
Of course I do.
It's so weird. I don't like having people's location. I don't want people to have my location. I just think it's a bizarre thing.
I've never cared.
You don't care about anything. I can't get you to care about anything.
Y'all can know where I am.
Food is the thing. Well, you usually can. You don't. You're one of four places. You're at. You're in the break room eating whatever free food is there. You are at the soccer stadium. You are at a high school football game, or you are probably at an East Nashville bar that will remain nameless because they do not advertise with us.
Or here.
Well, yeah, the break room counts. You eating cold pizza at 9 in the morning.
Robert is...
I know exactly where to find you.
At home at his address, which is as follows. No, I won't do that.
Yes, if you would like to send your direct Ravens condolences to him or your jeering. I'm sure he's gotten plenty of that on Twitter. So good to know that he's home and that he's safe. We have not. Neither of us have talked to him because you cannot talk to him the day after the Ravens lose. It's a little ridiculous. It's out of control. Now I'm going to wait till Friday to tell him that because I assume tomorrow he's going to be useless as well.
Best to leave him be.
Yeah, at that point. All right. Some polls? It's Tuesday. We don't do Star Wars on Tuesday.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. What in sports made you say, oh no, this weekend? Replies are loading. Donald says, I remembered what I paid for Sunday ticket to be able to watch all of the Titans games.
Oh, no.
Andrew says the injuries to key players across the NFL. Todd says Michael Pittman's post-game interview after the Colts win over the Titans. Tyler says Derrick Henry's fumble yesterday.
The chat heard you doing Chewbacca noises without being able to hear the poll open.
Oh, man.
That was so bad.
Sorry. Do you care that Brian Callahan is late to press conferences? 54% say no.
That's about right.
Why do you think Brian Callahan is making new mistakes in 2025? Mike Titan says he's trying to over-adjust to problems from last year. Nothing looks scripted at the beginning of a game anymore. He's mixing what feels like 3 different offenses, whereas last year it looked more consistent and we knew what kind of offense we were getting.
I don't know about that last part. Knew what kind of offense you were getting. I don't think they were particularly consistent either. In fact, they were a nuclear wasteland every time Will Levis took the field. So
Shane says he's feeling the pressure of first overall quarterback and cracks are showing.
Again, it would be reckless speculation for me to say he looks rattled, but I don't know. I'm not going to make an assumption. He does look a bit rattled. He's making mistakes. Thus, he gives up play calling.
Fair or foul? Bruce Pearl giving his son Steven the job. 72% say it's foul. I just really want to know if
he held him hostage.
Right. Like if Auburn was in on this, if this was the plan, they were on the same page the whole way. Because, yeah, season starts in a month. So at surface level, it feels tough to just announce your retirement a month before the season and give them next to no time to find a coach and just hand it to your son, who has never had a coaching job other than being your assistant. So we'll see how it plays out. I know a lot of SEC basketball fans look forward to the day that Auburn is no longer good at basketball. This has been unquestionably the best run in Auburn basketball history, these 11 years, right? I mean, obviously. But it is a big story. I mean, Bruce, man, he's 65. It's crazy that Rick Barnes got a lifetime contract this year in his 70s, and Bruce is hanging it up at 65, and we'll see if the next step is politics. He won't be the first former Auburn coach to go that route.
He said specifically that he's not going to run for Senate, but we will see what plays itself out there. He's definitely been more polarizing on his social media of late. Mike, did you see Mike Wilbon's situation? Mike Wilbon on PTI yesterday said he hopes that Bruce Pearl was run out because he feels like Bruce Pearl has been intentionally, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but I guess more polarizing by intent or by design of late. And Kornheiser did not seem to agree with that particular point.
So Stephen Pearl is the replacement at Auburn. We'll see who the replacement is at Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy, man.
Out.
Things were bad at the end. He said all the wrong things, made all the wrong approaches, but played there, spent 30 years of his coaching career there, 10 as an assistant, 20 as the head coach. Mike Gundy is Oklahoma State football, and they did it a day after the 18th anniversary of the I'm a Man, I'm 40 rant.
At least they didn't do it on the day.
They had the decency to wait.
The decency, indeed. It made my heart hurt when you said that college basketball is a month away because I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that at all. Those the polls?
Yep.
Very good. Robert's back tomorrow. We'll see what kind of state he's in. Well done by Ross, I think, largely. For the start of this week, we'll see if we can't bring back the Coach Ross segments, depending on how Sunday goes. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m.